Hello, I'm here today to do another Sam's Rotisserie chicken, what I do with the meat. And we'll see how far I get. I'm planning on, I think, 4 meals. I might not show you all the sides I do with it today, but at least going to create the start of 4 meals and show you. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and debone the chicken, and then I'm going to do the rotisserie carcass in the crock pot with water and let it sit most of the day for chicken stock, and then I'll probably freeze it until I need it again. So here we go. Sorry about that. And I am going to save some of the skin because some of it is going to be used for a salad today for lunch. I don't know if anybody could tell me what part of the chicken they like better, if they like the white or the dark. For me, it depends. To cook, I like cooking with dark meat because it has more flavor, but I like the white meat in some dishes as well. So it's kind of a mix for me. I used to work KFC, so I'm so used to deboning, but I'm out of practice. It's been about 30 years since I've been there. And honestly, when I started KFC, I was never the biggest fan of chicken, but you learn new ways to eat it while you work there. I was there for about 4 years, so yep. There's some things I miss about it, especially when I started I liked making the biscuits. I think that was one of my favorites to do. What was everybody's first job? Like I said, mine was KFC. Alright, I'm going to take the string off. That way I know this will be nice and crumbly by the time I get this out of the crock pot later. Let's see there. There we go. All right. I'll probably leave some chicken on, that way it can come off while it's crock potting it for the broth. I won't season, if you saw my last video, I won't season while it's in the crock pot because the skin that I leave on has a lot of the seasoning from when I bought it at Sam's. So, and then for whatever recipes later on I use, I'll season it more then. Alright. I know I haven't gotten all of the meat off. Oh, here we go. Here's another. But like I said, I'll once I get done cooking the chicken later in the crock pot, I'll pull what's left off and put it in the broth. So let me wash my hands and I'll be right back. Okay, I wanted to show you how much chicken I did get pulled off of the rotisserie. It's not too bad, and it should get us enough for what I want to do this week. So, but I wanted to show you, because I didn't show you last time, I don't think, what I did to get the crock pot prepared. I've already thrown the carcass in the crock pot, so now I am going to kind of get it somewhat even, and then I'm going to put enough water to cover it. And then I am going to, I'll probably go ahead and start it off on high for a few hours, and then I'll probably put it on low halfway through, because I'd like to get this done. That way it has time to cool this evening before I throw it in the freezer. Alright, so that's 8 cups. I'm going to put one more in. Because some of the liquid might, during the cooking process, go down a little anyway, so you might as well cover it some. Alright, that's about 12 cups of water. And like I said, I'm just going to go ahead and turn it to high, put the lid on, and get it cooking. And I will show you how it looks later, and we'll see how much I get to put back. So we'll come back when I get some meals going with it, and we'll see what I do. So here's meal 1 of the rotisserie chicken. Granted, my husband's, he didn't want rotisserie chicken, he wanted popcorn chicken. But here's how mine looks with the rotisserie. I threw egg, cheese, some honey mustard dressing on it. So I hope you like this meal plan. All right, you just saw a minute ago the chicken salad. Now I'm going to work on the next 2 menus, which is going to be 1 day of chicken salad, which you probably see me do last rotisserie chicken meal. And then I'm also going to do a couple quesadillas. And like I did last video with the chicken as well, I am doing with what I have on hand other than the salad kit. When I got the rotisserie chicken, I also picked up the salad just to have for the week as well. So let me start making the chicken salad. I'm just pulling out a little bit of the chicken, hopefully enough for 1 day. Alright, let's see what this does cut up. And as you can tell, I did leave some of the skin on. Granted, that's the bad part of the chicken, but you gotta have some taste. And this is usually, I used to buy the chicken salad already made at Sam's that you buy in the coolers, but it's to the point, it's not tickling my fancy much anymore. So I almost prefer to do the homemade. You can control what's all in it. And I don't remember what all I put in my chicken salad last time that I showed you. So it just depends all what you have on hand. Let me tear that piece off. Yeah, I've had quite a bit thinking about what I wanted to do this time around with the $5 chicken. And I thought about doing a homemade chicken bacon ranch pizza. But since we all just had pizza of some form over the weekend, I will make that recipe next time I do a rotisserie chicken video. There is a lot of different options you can do with rotisserie chicken. It's just what do you have on hand and what sounds good at the time. If you notice how full my sink is, like I said a little bit ago, it's been a busy weekend, so needless to say, cleaning has been a little shy. All right, next I am going to add some mayo. Again, you can use whichever brand you like and how much you like in it. I'm going to start with that. I'm going to add a little pepper. Again, the skin has some seasoning already. And like I showed you before, since I don't keep pickle relish in the cabinet, I use pickles. And again, my boy is acting like a goofball. Well, if I can get the pickles out, we'll start with a couple. It's nice and juicy. And this way you can cut them up if you like bigger chunks. You can leave them however you like. I was just thinking, if you like ranch, you could always throw some ranch in there for a little extra zest. I've got juices running down my hand. So much fun. I wish you were here to see my boy. All right. If I had red onion, I would probably cut some up as well and put some in, but I don't. So let me just stir this up and see how it is. Alright, it looks pretty good. Again, you can use whatever you have on hand. If you like celery as an extra crunch, you could always put some in if you have it. Just use what you got on hand. Especially when you don't get paid until tomorrow, as in Monday. And you just got to use what you got on hand. Alright, that is done. I'm going to set it aside, and I'll put it up here in a few. Next, I'm going to do the quesadillas, so let's come over here. I'm going to get it heated. And as you can see, I've got some taco seasoning here. It's homemade, and if you look on Pinterest, it's a keto taco seasoning mix, and I've just made some today. This is what's left, and the tortillas I'm using is what I got at Aldi a while back, or a week or so ago, and this is what's left. And it's carb control whole wheat, so it's one where hubby and I need to kind of watch what we're putting in our system. So this is what we're using. So what I'm going to do now is cook up some chicken on here with the seasoning, and get some shredded up. And with the rotisserie chicken that's left, I am going to throw in the freezer, and later in the week I will be making some homemade barbecue chicken sandwiches. I have hamburger buns in the freezer that I need to use up, and then as a side I'll probably do a veggie or fruit with it. And I will try to get a picture of it and post it, or a short, and show you the final outtake of it. But again, I'm just using what I've got on hand, and trying to do the healthier version instead of what you can already pre-buy or pre-buy convenience. All right. Hopefully that will, let me get a little bit more. That should do for 2 quesadillas. So let me set this to the side without dropping. And let me put some seasoning on it. Again, if you don't want to make your homemade, you can always use packets if that's what you have on hand. I'm just trying to control the seasonings in it. And this recipe I used called for salt. And if you watch my videos often, I don't cook a lot with salt. Some I do. But if I use packets, it's already got salt in it. I'm not going to add extra. And with the rotisserie chicken, I'm sure salt was in the seasoning. Sometimes with my boy, I think I've got a cat in the house. Alright, while that's finishing up cooking real quick, or heating up, I'm going to get the tortillas out. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to put some chicken divided between the two. Yeah, I just posted a short of a homemade hamburger helper. That's part of our lunches this week, and then this and the chicken salad is finishing up, rounding out the lunches this week. So now the cheese, again, depending on how much you like. I shredded the cheese up a little bit ago. I needed some for another dish. Let me get this rounded up. Maybe. I think I got a little too much, but it should fill us up. And we'll probably have fruit cup or applesauce with it. Alright. As you can see, cheese is melting. And I'll flip it over here in a second. Now my voice here wanted me to tell you again about his channel. It's JP's Sports Corner, and it's one where it has the basketball as the background. So you should go check it out. Today he did one, and I'm not surprised with the top one he picked, his favorite team. And if you want to go see who his favorite team is, go check out his video. Let me get this flipped over. Alright, and if you're trying to watch your carbs intake, let's see. Here's the ingredient or calorie list. It's 3 grams fat, carbs is 18, with dietary fiber of 14. So it's, and 4 grams of protein. So it's not too bad. So we're about done. Let me grab a paper plate. Alright, I'm going to stop there because it'll heat more up as we heat it up for later. If you've got salsa on hand, you could always dip it in that. Sour cream. If not, it's just as good as it is. So there's that. And like I said, with the last of the chicken here, I'm going to just put it in a Ziploc bag since it's cooled down. Throw it in the freezer, and then later in the week we're going to have some barbecue chicken sandwiches. Again, depending on what kind of bread you use, whether it's hamburger bread, I like naan bread, as my boy wrinkles up his nose. So he'll probably get that. And I'm hoping to do a video whenever we do homemade pizza, because I'll use the naan bread with it. So that might be one you see here soon. Otherwise, have a good rest of your weekend, and we'll see you soon. Alright, one last thing to the video. Here's the chicken broth I made from the bones of the rotisserie chicken, and here's how much it made. So it's going to go to the freezer once cooled, and it'll be ready to use next time I need one. Have a good one.